Matchmaking, online dating, and Instagram. If you're a man with a busy career or your own business and you want to find the right girlfriend or wife, which of these methods are best suited to find the right woman for marriage or at least for a long-term relationship? Well, let's first talk about matchmaking and why matchmaking is a horrible, horrible idea. Couple of reasons. Number one, the database of most matchmaking platforms, they're quite limited. So you might pay 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand over the course of a year, and they're gonna set you up with 1 date a month. Yes, you'll get 12 dates over the course of a year with a very limited database that partially an algorithm, partially a person picks for you. So the database is very limited. Second of all, you don't even know what you truly want yet, and then you're going to communicate that in an imperfect fashion into a system in a written form. These algorithms, they're not that advanced yet that they could actually match you up with somebody who also imperfectly communicated her preferences for a long-term relationship. Point number 3, I've seen it over the years so many times that men in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s come to me who've tried matchmaking, who spent 10, 20, 30 grand on it, and they ended up getting nowhere. One, because the options really weren't what they were looking for. And also, if you don't know how to create options for yourself, after date 5 or 6, you start getting a little bit nervous. So I only have 5 or 6 dates left. If it's not going to go anywhere with those, then I'm kind of screwed because I depend on this person, on this provider, on this service to set me up with dates because I haven't created the skill set of being able to create options, meet women during the day or through online dating or Instagram by myself. So a part of you will always be afraid that if it's not going to work out, that you'll need to repurchase that particular service again. And by the way, I'm not shitting on matchmaking on the people themselves. I do believe they're genuinely trying their best. I have no beef. I have no problem with the people themselves. But the service is not a great idea. The 4th reason why it isn't a good idea is you can be set up with as many dates as you like. If you don't know how to communicate your personality authentically and effectively, if you don't eliminate the blind spots in your communication on the date, if you don't create a man-to-woman connection, if you don't become more polarizing, women are going to keep losing interest in you. So those are a couple of reasons why matchmaking really isn't a great idea and why you have to be able to create those options for yourself. Another one is, a 5th one perhaps, is once you're in a relationship, if you don't have the skill set to create dates by yourself whenever you want to, you're always going to be afraid of losing her because our brain goes to what if scenarios. Have you ever had that? Or if you're worried about a particular situation and then you think it all the way through. What if this happens? Okay. And what if this happens? And what if this happens? And then you go to the worst case scenario and you realize, well, I'm actually going to be okay with it. And all of a sudden the first level fear disappears and it's not as relevant anymore. Well, the same thing happens here, or rather it doesn't happen because, pardon me, if you realize that, oh, if I lose her, I can't replace her because I've never developed the skill set of creating options for myself, you'll never be as grounded in the relationship as you could be. You'll never negotiate in the relationship on eye level the way you could be. You'll become a slave, or perhaps you become a tyrant. And you don't want any of that. You really want to have a relationship on eye level. You won't be able to communicate your needs in a calm and grounded fashion if you're always afraid of losing her. I married a woman purely out of a fear of loss, actually. Not that things weren't even that amazing. We weren't even that compatible. Yet, some source of love is better than nothing. And I never realized that I could just meet women during the day, at night, on online dating apps, on Instagram. And if you actually create those options for yourself for a couple of months, 1 month, 9 months, X amount of months, then you choose somebody and then you're done with it. But the experience will always stay with you. So matchmaking is absolute and utter nonsense. Let's take a look at Instagram. Instagram is beautiful. Do you have to use Instagram to find the right woman? Absolutely not. But we've measured it with clients from 30 countries, from all around the world now over the last couple of years, that Instagram will 3x your results. You will get 3 times more dates, women will stay X times more interested. And by the way, or in other words, the time it's going to take you to find the right woman is going to be cut into a third. It's going to 3 to 10x your results, depending on the strength of your Instagram profile and a couple of other factors. Because if you match with her on a dating app, for example, and then you transition the conversation onto Instagram, she'll see a catalog of attractive things about you. And that's not holding your AP into the camera. It's not about flexing your cars. But it is about portraying the lifestyle that you're living in a way where it's not bragging, but it's authentic. It's still exciting. In a way where, Fernandina, can you adjust the brightness, please? Thank you. In a way where she'll realize, okay, this is a guy that I really, really want to be with, but he doesn't feel the need to brag. So you give her enough of an insight into who you are and the exciting things you're doing, but it doesn't come off as try-hard, as self-qualifying. Have you ever had that where you see a profile of a lady, maybe a little bit more brightness, where you see, thank you, we see the profile of a lady on a dating app and then you go to her Instagram because maybe she's got it linked, or you looked her up because she has a unique name and you found her. And the more you saw about her on her Instagram profile, the more excited you got to meet with her. Now sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes you discover a couple of things you're like, oh, that's actually I'm interested. And that's why your Instagram profile has to be on point. You can't have blind spots. You have to look at tag posts, story highlights, and all kinds of other things. Because even just one wrong picture can create so much friction that women are going to get turned off immediately. But if it is on point, if it's well built, which is something that I help my clients with in detail, then she'll be very, very excited to want to meet you. Because you have to understand that she doesn't know anything about your personality other than your looks. Now, looks can be optimized. Most people don't even optimize their looks. With clothing. I'm not saying that you're not taking care of your hygiene. Obviously, you're doing that. But you probably haven't. If your looks currently, in terms of the way you present yourself, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, but the way you present, and I don't have to because I'm a happy, engaged relationship. Engaged. It's an engaged relationship of a weird term, yeah. We're happy, right, babe? How happy are we? Very happy. Very happy. So for me, it doesn't matter quite as much anymore. Not to say that you should let yourself go when you're in a relationship, quite the opposite, because obviously you want to dress up for the lady, keep going to the gym. I'm currently on a weight loss journey myself, even though Fernanda keeps telling me, "Aw," she thinks I'm too thin. She grabs my belly and she's like, "No, that's cute." I have zero evolutionary pressure on me to lose weight. So that's why I picked up cigars, by the way, a couple of weeks ago. Because nicotine decreases hunger. Is that the best way to lose weight? Probably not. Does it work? Yeah, absolutely. Gonna do it for a couple of weeks and then I'm probably gonna stop as well because it's a stupid habit, but it works. So going back to that, right? If you want to optimize your looks because your looks are currently a 7 out of 10, then that's probably a good idea. You can get expert advice. We help people with that. You can do your independent research on that. But that's important. But nonetheless, she only sees that. And your personality is so much more important because looks are a secondary evaluation criteria for women when it comes to the selection of a long-term partner, not short-term. If you're just looking for a hookup, well, then looks matter a lot more. But personality is so important, especially when looking for a long-term relationship. But how are you going to communicate your personality? Well, you got to include elements like social proof and status. And you got to have as much as your authentic personality shine through on your dating profile and your Instagram as possible, because that will serve as a pre-qualification mechanism, because you don't want to go and waste your time on dates with the wrong women. Remember, you're looking for somebody for the long term. So you have a criteria of things that have to be met. And so obviously it's not going to be perfect, but the more you convey who you truly are in these pictures, in your profile description, on your prompt, through your behavior on these apps, the higher the likelihood that you'll actually end up on the date with somebody who is more likely to fit your must-haves, nice-to-haves, and who doesn't have any deal breakers in terms of what you're looking for a wife, right? So that's the whole thing with Instagram. Instagram is amazing, and you should absolutely use it. And dating apps are something that's just basically pure magic. Now, I'm a huge fan of learning to meet women in real life. It's not a skill set that you absolutely have to develop as a man. How can you call yourself a man if you can't even approach a woman in a supermarket in a respectful and effective way? At the same time, you touch your phone and a woman appears. How amazing is that? Could you adjust the brightness again, babe? Because the sun is coming through. Thank you. How beautiful is that? There are women that you would otherwise never meet. Now, for example, there's some women like Fernanda who aren't on dating apps. But there's millions of amazing women who are on dating apps. And as much as you should develop the skill set of learning to meet them in real life, because life is and not or most of the time, dating apps are beautiful. 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes a day. And you can meet people. The time you spend on the toilet, 2 times a day, 7.5 minutes. 3 times a day, 5 minutes. 10 to 15 swipes right per day. And you can get one high quality date every single week. Which is enough, if you do that for X amount of months, to find the right person and go into an amazing relationship. So, I would highly recommend to not waste your money on matchmaking and time also, because you can blow a year going on dates that you haven't even met. Especially if you meet somebody on a dating app, you did the choosing. If you meet somebody in person, you do the choosing. You decide whether you even want to meet with her for a date or not. It's not like a blind date kind of setup. So do that. Build a great Instagram. You can't theoretically just exchange iMessage or Android. Just kidding. I know in the US this Android and iOS thing is a big deal. In Europe isn't as much. I think Android is a bit more popular in Europe. I myself happen to be a blue text lover. But look, you can just exchange iMessage or regular text message or WhatsApp or whatever it is. That's fine. But look, who posts WhatsApp stories? Your aunt? Nobody really does. But on Instagram, stories are absolutely powerful. I have another video on this YouTube channel where I talk about Instagram in detail. Just type in Instagram on my YouTube channel and you're going to find that. Look, if you want my help with finding the right girlfriend, life partner, or wife personally, if you want us to help you with your online dating so you can find somebody in a relaxed fashion where you enjoy the process, eliminate the blind spots, build the confidence and communication skills necessary to communicate on a high level, apply for a free initial consultation call. I'm looking forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.